My name's Levi. I've sent millions of emails and generated thousands and thousands of interested leads through cold email. This video is just for people who are looking at the cold email or haven't done cold email before and want to learn how to get clients with it quickly. And so I'm just going to click through this one, the workspaces that we're managing, how we're getting tons of leads. We're sending about 5 to 10K email a day with this workspace, generated 53 interested leads in the past 5 days. So about 10 interested leads per day with cold email, which should be a couple booked calls a day, which can easily, be 20 to 50 booked calls a month and a good few closed clients. So to start, I just want to give you like the four most important things of cold email, which are your infrastructure, your leads, your offer, and then your copy. You could kind of fit in there. I guess it's mainly three. And then sort of how you can get started and my recommendations for that. So to start, number one is your infrastructure, which is huge. And so people who start off sending cold email, you need to know that you actually have to build a proper cold email infrastructure, right? It's not just like you can get a Gmail account and 10,000 emails a day from it. You're going to land straight in the spam folder and you're going to get your domain blacklisted and just nothing's going to work. And so the simple breakdown of how we usually set up infrastructure is you get a bunch of domains that we call like burner domains, which are one similar to your main domain but slightly different. Get a bunch of them, and then with each of the domains, we create 3 email inboxes. You have to pay for each inbox, and then we warm them up for 2 weeks, then we can send from each email inbox. My recommendations is just go to an email provider. We use cheap inboxes, so cheapinboxes.com, and you can pretty much just ask them how do you get set up, and they'll show you how to do it. Tons of other email providers, but we use cheap inboxes primarily. There's a couple others that we also use. So that's for infrastructure. Infrastructure is huge because usually people who are sending cold email, if you send cold email and it hasn't worked, maybe you're going to low reply rate or no results. A lot of the time, people don't realize they're just going straight to spam when they send the emails. And there's no definitive way of realizing or knowing if you're going to spam unless it's like super bad, right? If you're getting like a 0% reply rate. But you have to look at the metrics that are usually caused from going to spam. So when we're getting lower reply rates and nothing's changed, like let's say we're at a 2.5% reply rate, we didn't change anything, same type of leads, similar script, and we go down to like a 0.5% reply rate, we can judge that that's probably us just going to spam more and we're not getting good deliverabilities to work for it. And so infrastructure is a huge thing. What we do for it is we always buy twice as much infrastructure as we need for the daily sending volume. So let's say we want to send 5,000 emails a day. We get 10,000 emails a day of sending infrastructure. Send from half of it, and the other half we keep in email warm up, which is like improves the deliverability of email accounts, which just means like they're sending to other emails in the warm up pool and they're getting good reply rates. So the Google and Microsoft see that they look healthy and they get better reply rates. So we go send from half, we keep half warm up, and then we batch rotate them. And we always have some in reserve so that if some domains get blacklisted or we see some inboxes have a bad reply rate, we can just put in some of our emails that are in the warm up, order some more infrastructure, and then we always have backup. We can always have good deliverability. So for infrastructure, if you know a bit about infrastructure, that buying twice as much is huge and it's very, very helpful. We use custom cloud code systems as well to track like domain reply and all that. I have another video on that, but that is very, very useful. And if you haven't even started with cold email, just know infrastructure is a huge part of the game. There's always craziness going on. Sometimes there's massive ban waves. It's a huge cat and mouse game with Google and Microsoft to be able to send tens of thousands, like millions of emails and not land in the spam folder. But the best way to do it is just find people that know about infrastructure. So book some calls to email providers and find one that you like, and they should be able to tell you like what's going on with deliverability, what type of precaution you need to use, how many emails you can send per day per inbox, how many inboxes you can make per domain, all those different things. You should just ask your email provider if you're new to cold email. That's the first thing. Second thing is lead sourcing. There's two main sources that you'll pull leads from. One is going to be maps based sources. And so we actually have a Google Map scraper. I can show you here, mapsdata.ai, where you can pull, let me get my camera over here, or maybe it's not showing, but you can pull tons of leads. Just click on the state that you want, click the type of leads you want. Super easy to just get started with. You can get 500 free leads if you just go down below, mapsdata.ai. Super cool tool. That's where you pull leads from Google Maps. And so if you think about it, right, when you're pulling leads, it's public information that people are listing, and then you get that public information. And so some of the biggest public databases to pull information from, like emails and phone numbers, is Google Maps has a ton of listings, and so that's what this scraper does, where it pulls emails and websites and phone numbers, contact information directly from Google Maps just by query. And the next one is LinkedIn. And so the LinkedIn-based sources are like Apollo, ZoomInfo, Prospeo, like tons of different sources. They mainly pull from Apollo. There's also like other places that they pull from, of course, but it's mainly Apollo based leads. And so Apollo based leads are going to be better if you want to get super specific, super granular, or you want to target a higher employee count businesses, whereas Google Maps is good for broad contact information, smaller businesses, and you'll get higher reply rates. You can find like higher reply rates to certain industries, and you can find sort of niche like queries if you search for like, let's say, bowling alleys or like golf courses aren't getting emailed as much, and so you can get really good reply rates targeting niche queries like that. And it's a lot cheaper. Like this Maps data is probably gonna be like 10 times cheaper than any Apollo reseller or like Apollo scraper that you can find. And so for lead sourcing, it's just good to know the market that you're targeting, and it's good to be diversify that. If you want to get super technical, you can also build like custom Claude code scrapers from public databases. We've gotten great results from that. We've also gotten horrible results from that. So you want to kind of know what you're doing if you're going to do that. I recommend check out Maps Day. You can get 500 free leads, and it's like $100 a month is the top plan. You get 300,000 leads with emails, so it's unbelievably cheap. You can start for like $20 a month. Otherwise, you can go to Apollo scrapers. There's different ones like Export Apollo, Find a Lead, Boomerang. There's tons of different Apollo scrapers. We can get leads from Apollo for probably 10 times cheaper. Usually, the standard price is about 15 or more like 20 to like $40 per 10,000 Apollo leads with emails. That's like the price that you can get from Apollo scrapers, which is way cheaper than that, than just directly from Apollo. So I'd recommend just scrape them out on Apollo scraper or Maps Data, and then go to millionverifier.com or like Neverbounce. There's a couple other ones where you can verify leads, and so that's just to make sure that it's still an active email, still an active business. Usually, you get about 70% of your list back when you verify it. So you want to pull a lead list from like Google Maps or Apollo or something like that, or maybe a custom source if you have something like that, and then you want to verify the list after that. If you don't, you'll probably get high bounce rates because you'll be sending to emails that aren't still active, right? Think about it, you're pulling from like a massive database of millions of emails, and so not all of them are still going to be active. So you always want to verify them. I just recommend millionverifier.com. You buy some credits, you put your list in. It's super simple. You just upload the CSV file, and it gives back all the emails you can use. And that's going to keep your deliverability good. It's going to help your infrastructure and also keep your reply rate up and make sure that you're only emailing like real businesses, right? And then the third part is offer. And so I like to say offer instead of copy, because you're going to think, right, to run a campaign, you need your infrastructure, which is what you send from. You're going to need your list, which is who you send to. Then you're going to need your script, which is what you're sending, right? So you have like your infrastructure, you send your script to your list. That's kind of three components. But the offer is really what makes the script. Like the offer is the part of the script that you're actually pitching. And so it's best to think about it as the offer and not the copy. And so when you do your split testing, when you are running cold email, of course, like, see, because I don't know if we ran too many split tests, but we have like, we have our A/B test for this one, and we saw, okay, this one's getting okay metrics, but this one's doing way better. And the difference in that is the offer. It's not like the slight copy variations using different words. It's what are you actually presenting to the leads that you're reaching out to. So this could be switching the way that you frame it. This could be switching the different type of guarantee, risk reversals that you're using. It could be like performance basis. You could try that versus a money back guarantee versus a free trial versus a no risk reversal. And you can see sort of match like what offers do best, like what framings do the best. But really for cold email, to make it work, you need to have a very strong offer that's built for cold traffic. And so I like to talk about it as like a front end offer, which most of the time you have to give up something to sort of reel them in, and then you show them that proof that you're worth working with, and then you can upsell them to like your main package or like your back end offers. Um, but that's a super thing that you go like super deep into. Essentially, just when you're running cold email, the main thing you're split testing is just make sure you have good deliverability. You want to send to the proper market that needs your offer, and you want to make sure that you make your offer as strong as possible. If you have a bad offer but really good copywriting, you're not gonna get very good results. Whereas if you have a really good offer but shit copywriting, you're gonna get very good results because people actually want what you're emailing to them. And so I recommend do like a one line script where you're just saying like, hey, if I could get you this result in this time without this risk, would you be open to a chat? Something like that you can use for like most different offers. And if it's good, it'll work. If it's bad, it won't work. It's a pretty simple way of testing it. And then you can sort of reframe that in many different ways. You'd be like, hey, not sure if you need this, but I could do this for you. Would that be, if you could do that, would you be open to chat? Or like, hey, you've gotten this result for this person. If you could do that, would you be open to chat? Just simple one line framings of like different slight variations of saying it, and then change the type of result that you're pitching. So, like, hey, if we could do this result, and then split test, hey, if we could do, and then a different result, or split test the you can split test call to action. Sometimes different markets respond differently, different call to actions. So, like for example, local businesses for this campaign, the call to action was a phone call rather than a Google Meet, and so different markets respond to that as well. But yeah, I'd say just make sure that you dial in on trying to find the best way of framing your offer to the people that you're targeting. And lastly, I think yeah, just run the one liners to a simple market, run a test like that, and see how it performs, and that's going to give you immense feedback on that's going to give you immense feedback on the results you're going to get with your cold email. To be honest, those are the main things that you need to focus on in cold emails. Just make sure you have a good infrastructure, build a good relationship with your providers. Two is make sure you know where you're sourcing your leads from, be able to source them at cost. And then three is just split test that offer, frame it well. One liner scripts do amazing. Amazing. If I show you this campaign right here, we're just running like a simple one line and a simple one line, very, very simple. Yeah, if you want sort of template scripts or some of the SOPs that we use for actually running or managing cold email, you can DM me on X. That should be in the description down below. Or you can just book a call with me if you're looking to have cold email run for you. Otherwise, check out Maps Data, 500 free leads, and subscribe.